one thing David Wheaton wishes he could change about tonight was his doubles match yesterday.
Well, it's tense out here. McEnroe waiting for the crowd to settle down, and I guarantee you they're not going to settle down maybe all evening.
Glaring up at some folks seated right behind where he's serving. And Wheaton holds his serve for 1-all in the first set.
A good look at the Wheaton serve now. Nice easy motion. Just really gets into it well. Quick couple of paces, and he is a tall guy, and so he can get up there very quickly.
That's what we've seen during this Open. Those old hands.
Those old hands look like new hands. Got down low. That time he decided to keep the ball deep instead of playing either the touch shot, and he just read it just right. He hesitated for a second, didn't commit.
Solid. That's the McEnroe volley that seems to have a bit more punch all of a sudden at this year's U.S. Open. Good shot of the serve here now. Watch the footwork as he takes a couple of big strides and then a little more punch, and you could see his body weight get into that shot.
Him moving around too shabbily.
Well, he's a big guy. Great. Moved pretty well there.
But I can see where, you know, he kind of can lumber a little bit. And if John can start getting a little bit more and more accurate as the match goes on. There he gets down pretty good. He didn't really punch that volley. And he's trying to set him up, staying on his toes. But as you said, he's a big guy, and he kind of lumbered a little bit to that volley. Made a great stab at it, won the point. But John, if anybody can exploit a mobility weakness, it's this guy.
And McEnroe tried to cross and missed it.
McEnroe all over the place now. Good defense. Look how far back John is. Comes over this ball, gets another play for it, and just hits it into the open court. And this crowd went wild.
Okay, but Wheaton really didn't use too much of the court on that point. I mean, everything was right back to the middle of John. Now, I don't know if that's due to a little bit of tightness, or John was hitting some pretty good shots, but John also was cutting off everything on a half volley.
This is just too solid here. McEnroe with great footwork, great timing, comes into this ball, hits the solid approach, and then really gets some weight into that high backhand volley. That is not a kind of shot you can put away too easily. Oh, ho, ho. Well, for the last 4 or 5 points, it has been as good as it gets with McEnroe. Watch this great touch here. This is what we talked about. Watch the racket now. It's going to drop back. Look at that face of the racket. It comes back with the ball. The pace comes off the ball and it stops.
Yeah, and I know why he's laughing. Plays a great volley on the first one, and this one was not something that John would normally do. He just really cashed that one. And he really would like to spank himself for that one. But Wheaton, give him credit for the second effort of the mountain.
Might get it. Great effort.
The Orr is very much like a championship fight. And so you see a lot of famous people in the stands. Better here than Baghdad, right?
I know, I've been there. It's a pretty nice place. Good looking service action. Maybe not enough angle on his serve, and John just catches it early enough. He has that ability to get the racket right out in front, take a short swing, and just hook the ball cross court.
Tell you what, he is really on top of the returns tonight.
And he's slowly starting to move in closer. As you pointed out the other night, Barry, as the match went on, the more and more confidence he got, he kept stepping in closer and closer on the baseline, past the baseline, almost to the service line by the end of the match.
He said today, Peter said, you get to the quarterfinals and guys bring their A games with them. As McEnroe's brought his.
Not only did he hit a great return here, but watch this, another drop volley. The racket coming way back after he makes contact with the ball. Oh. Again, McEnroe returns a deep serve, catches Wheaton right at his feet, and then just comes in and lunges him out there wide, and the easy volley.
He doesn't like to use it too often. He likes to go for the passing shot. That's not a good sign against a guy like McEnroe, because the only way to keep him honest is to keep him away from the net. Or just come in a lot yourself, as Wheaton did very well in that point.
15.
One way of keeping McEnroe away is coming in yourself. And this time McEnroe, he lifts the backhand a little bit high, but Wheaton hits a nice deep backhand volley. Well, we're getting highlight clips of John McEnroe's perfect setup of the volley.
Oh, yes.
McEnroe is just taking Wheaton's second serve apart.
Continuing to. Good look at the U.S. Open titles here. Obviously, he's won 4. He won so many in doubles with Peter Fleming. And then last year, of course, with Mark Woodford.
Also, Patrick, do you see a difference in the way that he is serving now than from the time that, say, we were watching him at Wimbledon?
I think there's no doubt. I think what I see more of the difference is him coming into the net on the first volley. I can remember practicing with a couple times and cracking a couple returns at him, and him being out of position and not almost trying to think too much about what he was doing. which was very unlike John. He's just such a natural player, and just to come in and he's much more into the flow now. And when he hits that first volley, he's inside the box. And as we see, his touch is just incredible now. I mean, he's got all these guys on their heels because they don't know where his volley's going.
And I think this is a good example of what Patrick's talking about. Much more relaxed serve. And watch where he's going to hit his first volley. Patrick pointed out he's never, ever behind that service line. And I think a lot of that has to do with the way he tosses the ball on his serve. He really tosses it way out in front. A couple months ago, I think he was tossing it a little bit too close to the baseline. He's had a couple big wins in the last couple of weeks over Mayo and some of the other top 20 players. So we've got another McEnroe that we've got watching on TV pretty soon.
Patrick, take us through this replay here, because here's a good look at your brother at his best.
Well, here he is using all the court, using the drop, really bringing Wheaton in. He knows Wheaton's a little bit slow, and there are the hands of gold there.
And watch where the racket is again. Watch where he keeps his racket.
Everything's in front.
You'll
like
never
Vitas
ever see
says.
that racket behind.
He just keeps telling me that when I practice with him. Keep those hands out in front.
Well, you've had some good results with that treatment, haven't you?
Did you call those the hands of gold?
I think that's about appropriate tonight.
They're definitely not the hands of stone.
There you see Wheaton's one of his real strength, the way he can cover the net. He's got tremendous reach, and I remember that practicing him quite a bit at Stanford. He's very difficult to pass. David tends to get a little tentative on his forehand sometimes. He can hit it real well, but on the return, he shanked quite a bit of him off some of John's second serves. And
well, Wheaton shows a little of his own touch here. Now McEnroe with a good angle. David, a little tentative, like you said, right there, Patrick, but right here he hits a fine drop volley.
Beautiful drop.
Wheaton's moving, and Patrick made a point of how well he does cover the net. He did play that back pretty deep. John made a good get, and then Wheaton just put away a nice little touch volley. Wheaton's brother looking on.
White base. Thank you.
And I'm sure Wheaton's brother has seen a lot of tight matches before, so, anything can happen.
We know that.
That's for sure. We've seen everything happen.
Wheaton showing a little bit of life. Wins the game, but McEnroe still up a break in the second.
Dick, we got one of your four-year guys up here with us, and I know you like those kind of guys. Wheaton coming to life here a little bit.
Love 15.
One more look at it now. John hits the volley. Not quite as deep as he's been hitting it. Gets his racket on this one. But Wheaton all over the forehand. Patrick, right here, he doesn't have to do that much with that short ball.
Didn't have to do much with there. He nailed it right up the middle, right at John.
15.
Watch this smash one more time of John McEnroe as he gets back, lets the ball drop, and just goes for it.
Beautiful timing there. I think it could. I mean, obviously we don't talk about it, but I think he obviously knows in the back of his mind that maybe he just thought about it on that easy forehand volley.
Big points here now. John not too happy about missing that forehand. And that ball will keep bouncing.
Well, it's the first chance for Wheaton tonight. First break point.
White base. Thank you. White base.
I think we know the crowd was happy about that. They want to see a little more action, I think, tonight.
Quiet, please.
This is Bruno Ribot.
Can you ask the supervisor, please, to check? I think it's outside the court, but they're doing something to clean it. And it just came on, okay?
Noises with some cleaning machines outside the court.
Patrick, you've played on this center court a lot. Is it tough? Do the noises, can you really hear them coming in there?
You can hear a lot of things. I mean, I think I hear it now, a little bit of drilling or something, it sounds like. But
It actually does. It sounds like the third rail on the subway.
yeah, it may very well be. But we all know that John hears a lot of things.
John McEnroe is one set from the semifinals.
Let's watch it one more time now. McEnroe in quickly, knocks off the forehand volley. Looked good. Looked awful good from up here.
It looked good twice.
It was right on the line. You couldn't see it? The line's out? He's sure of his call. How are you sure he's sure?
And Vitas, at 2 sets to love up, is a call like that, you think, going to really bother McEnroe? Or should he let it even?
It should not bother him.
Exactly.
But
it's interesting, though, as his tennis has gotten better and as the fine total climbs toward that magic number of $7,500, his behavior's gotten a lot better.
He is really letting John, he's showing him some real footwork there, moving in quick.
And David Wheaton, his first break of the night. The net was just high enough for McEnroe.
nothing can be finer than to volley in Carolina in the morning. And that is one of those beautiful early morning drop balls.
Oh, man.
Since I never got up early, I never hit one of those. But look at the way he gets down to that. And Barry, it's almost impossible to describe how tough it is to take the pace of the ball off, to gently place that with backspin over the net. It's so tough to explain. It seems like such a simple shot.
we said it earlier, McEnroe taking a lot of chances by getting up very close to the net. That time, Wheaton saw it happening and then just fired up this nice topspin lob. Caught John with his nose hanging over the net, really.
Good hustle by Wheaton. That's John's fate. That was...
That's old John.
That is really... we've seen classic John this, classic John that. Now that was the shot really that I remember on the biggest points he would make, where he could hook it up the line that literally went way outside the net post, twirled around, came in just with the little flick of the wrist, and then he could do the exact, with the same swing, hit that little angle cross court, right where the net court judge is sitting.
Stadium court at the U.S. Open. They've come out tonight to see John McEnroe, and he is not disappointed. A point from the semifinals.
Jeez.
No. David Wheaton still has a few things to show.
It's almost in a way a historic match. You know, we don't know how many more years John may come back to the U.S. Open to play, and at the same time we're seeing one of America's brightest hopes, who we will be seeing for many, many years to come. So it's actually the old guard playing the new in a way.